What's up, guys? Intelitech Studios here, and today we are doing a service video on this Eureka AirSpeed. If I remember correctly, this one was model number AS1000, and that is correct. So this is the, as far as I know, the original variant of the Eureka AirSpeed, and the only thing that was wrong with this, at least that I remember, yeah, the brush roll is fine on this. So it was just clogged. So we're going to go ahead and give this a little service. We can see some dirt kind of stuck up in there. And I don't remember if there were any clogs in the hose, but we're about to grab that as well. So we're going to start off by just vacuuming it out. Now, instead of my Sanyo, I didn't really feel like grabbing it, so I'm just using the 1398 that I just did a review on. Since the bag is like half full and I want an excuse to fill up the bag, so when I sell it I can sell with a fresh bag without wasting this one. So I'm using this as a bench pack for a bit. I think that's perfectly reasonable. Anyways, so we are going to go ahead and start cleaning this out. So we pop off this bin right here. We can see there is a lot of dirt stuck in here. So we're going to get that all apart and cleaned up, and we should be in good shape. So we'll do that right now. Okay, so now this filter and all of this entire bin setup right here needs desperately to be washed. This is just nasty. There's so much crap caked on the inside of this. It's not even funny. And this is in desperate need of some sort of a very thorough clean. So, not the kind of thing I'm actually going to try to get done in this video. I'm just going to go ahead and wash all this, but this should be clean enough that I should be able to at least test it out and see if it's functional. I did get most of these holes unblocked, but again, it's not going to be perfect. It's just a test to make sure there's nothing else wrong with the machine, and if simply this cleaning session that I will be bestowing upon this machine after this video will hopefully be all that it needs. If I can even get this bin back on correctly. Oh, okay. I almost just said there we go, and then literally it pops right off. Come on. Gotta actually like push it over the latch. Okay, it really does not want to go in. Why don't you want to go in? Okay, now it's latched, but now it's not holding in on the front. Okay, now it's on. There we go. That's what we wanted. Okay. Put that back in. That's just a one. And we can now potentially test this out and see how well this does. Again, not going to be perfect. Don't expect it to be. It's still very gross. But if it's functional now, then we know that we just needed a simple clog fix. And then obviously I'll do so if this works, then I'll know this was the actual repair and do everything on the actual service. So we're gonna see how this goes. Maybe a poof of dust. Okay, so vacuum is repaired. It is working now. It sucks, it grooms, it smells, the latter of which is not a pleasant thing to have happen, but nothing that a strip down and clean won't fix, I should say. So obviously this hose is getting soaked, this entire dirt cup setup is getting soaked, that brush roll is getting worked on. It is spinning just fine, but obviously got to get all the hair and stuff off of it. So, yeah, that is that. And I think while we are here, I'll go ahead and do the ladder as far as getting the belt and brush roll worked on, because that I can do right now. And then once I don't think I'm going to bother filming the cleaning process of the whole bin setup, given that it's about the same process as every other bagless system. So of course Eureka loves to do this top cover method, very similar to the Phantom's which is actually something I don't like about these machines. I actually much prefer just a bottom base plate that pops off, because then all the screw. There is some advantages to this. The main advantage with having a removable base plate on the bottom is that way, if there's any damage to the bottom housing, the base plate is easy to exchange and swap out. But the advantage of this method is it means that the screws are less likely to get rusted because they're not on the bottom of the machine, where it could potentially brave any elements that it's not designed to brave. So you can make an argument in favor of either method of a belt change system, but this is the direction Eureka decided to go. All the screws popped out with no problem. No issues there. Obviously, whenever you put this back in, make sure this lever is in the right position, because there's a notch right there. And honestly, not much to report. A little bit of dust, a little bit of dirt. This could use a cleaning. Yeah, not much to complain about. So yeah, so we're just gonna clean this up real quick. Grab the pistol. Debris there, just mostly some hair. Motor spindle actually has hair wrapped around it, funnily enough. So there's hair wrapped around the motor spindle behind the belt. Obviously that's still warm because the vacuum is recently turned off, but while it is a little discolored, there's no rust or anything. So that's promising. Although there is this metal? There is what looks like rust, but that looks like plastic, so I don't see why there'd be rust on plastic. The machine does have a little bit of rust on it, but nothing too major. The belt pops off right there, so if you want to replace the belt, the belt is a little warped. It's not burned or anything, so it could use a replacement. I'll put this same belt back in here for now. It is obviously, it's not slipping or anything, but you know, it could potentially use a replacement. I will clean it off real quick. So yeah, wipe off the spindle a little bit. I could do to kind of get some zep in here and clean off a lot of this caked on debris. Bumper's in good shape, not too much to say about that. Again, you have a lot of kind of grime and grubby areas. None of these bars on the bottom of the base plate are broken. So you have some dirt and dust on the sides where the end cap should be. The actual ends aren't too bad. Brush roll's in very good condition. One thing I do like about these Eureka brush rolls, they're very easy to disassemble. These bearings are spinning very freely. There's no hair in the bearings whatsoever. These bearing end caps could potentially be washed. Yeah, just a little bit of dirt on them, on the edges, but not too much to report. All this hair stopped right at the edge of the brush roll, so it can very easily be pulled off. There is a good amount of hair, but it's not wrapped around that tightly, as you can see. I'm just easily just pulling all this hair right off. So brush roll is certainly in good condition. Obviously, like any wood brush roller like this is painted, you're going to see some of the wood kind of shine through. You're going to see some of the black paint get worn off. That is one thing about these, is they start looking really ugly. But you can't deny that this is a really good quality brush roll. These wood brush rollers are always very solid. But it's definitely nice that, you know, Eureka's been using these good quality brush rolls, at least up until this point. This is kind of when Eureka, by some metrics, started kind of going downhill, so to speak. You still had the really nice quality brush rolls. A lot of people didn't like this AirSpeed design. This was kind of Eureka's last hurrah in the mainstream market. A lot of their machines nowadays just don't have a lot of, I don't want to say they don't have a lot of appeal, because obviously that's up to the consumers to decide, and a lot of them are still fresh on the market. There's actually some that, to me at least, look kind of promising. Specifically the Turbo Spotlight looks very interesting. It's one of the last machines that you can really get in a budget price range with LED headlights on the front of it. Feature that I really do enjoy, and I would like to check out that machine at some point. But actually, there is a little bit of hair in the very ends. Now that I can kind of see that. Nothing too major though. All pulls right out. But yeah, so this brush roll is in decent condition, like I just stated before. So yeah, sorry if I'm kind of rambling a little bit. Just trying to kind of fill up the time. And this is one of these, many of these machines that I've serviced. And one thing I do like about these, just like any other machine in this price range, these are very easy to service. There's not a lot to it, not a lot that can go wrong, especially on these, since you have the open bearings on the side. Very easy to get in here and keep everything clean. User serviceable brush rolls are always preferred and a very nice feature to have, especially as time goes on and these parts start to not be available as much. And you can actually get in here and service this brush roll with just off-the-shelf bearings if they start to lock up or go bad over time. Unlike a lot of Bissell and, you know, some Hoover brush rolls of the era. Is it Hoover I'm thinking of? Or is it Dirt Devil? Well, either way. I mean, it's all TTI now. See, one of these really long strings, these love to get caught around these brush rolls. I don't even know how people suck these up. Unless these are like carpet fibers, then I can understand it. If you have like a loose carpet and it kind of just gets pulled up in your vacuum, then that makes sense. This is a very, very long string. See in there, it's the end of it. Of course, this little cavity where the belt rides on. All sorts of brush rolls get hair in this section. Definitely not an uncommon thing. We do have some hair in this very edge, but not where the actual bearing rides. Just right where that goes. Yeah. I'll tell you, it does definitely kind of, these do kind of fall from grace from the days of the Whirlwind Lightspeed. Although those Whirlwind Lightspeeds are still in production, although not under the Eureka brand. They're under, actually, now that I think about it, they're sold by Bissell now, ironically. Since, of course, Sanitaire was owned by Electrolux, which also has a relationship with Eureka. There's a lot of very interesting history on the part of Eureka. And obviously now Medea owns them now. And I somehow just missed that whole process. Eureka had seemingly just disappeared for a while, at least in my eyes. And then all of a sudden they're back. But yeah, so these AirSpeeds were in fact pretty popular. So I suspect in the next couple of years, or honestly, especially around this time, you're going to see a lot of these. But also in the next few years, when these start getting thrown away, even more so, and people start upgrading to the new units, or I don't see a lot of people actually upgrading from Eureka to Eureka. I see a lot of people getting rid of these Eurekas and getting a Bissell or Hoover or something like that. But yeah, and I think a lack of a presence in big box stores like Walmart and Target may have a significant effect on that. So most people aren't going to Home Depot to buy their vacuums. I think if Eureka wants to get their newer machines in the public eye a little bit more, they might have to be a little bit more bullish on getting the new machines in brick and mortar stores. But what do I know about marketing? Okay, so that's all clean of the hair. And again, these bearings are still in great shape. Set that aside. Bearing end caps just kind of rub these on the carpet. I could wash all of this stuff. Oh, and of course that's right in the middle of all the hair. Just like to rub it on the carpet. Clean it up later. Not the best solution in the world, but when you don't have a workbench, what are you going to do? But yeah. Again, this will get a proper service later on once all the parts are dry. Once all these parts are dry after I wash them. But there is the belt and brush roll. Make sure this is still in frame. Yes, it is. Just like that. And we'll get all this cleaned up. Alright, so there's that, and yeah, let's see if I can't actually, see if we can't get this cleaned up. That, get all that cleaned up. It's doing all right. Maybe if I set this down on it like that, and that can allow me to spray it down a little bit more effectively. Not get any greasy areas. I just noticed there's a lot of hair. There is a good amount of hair in this little crevice right here that I missed out on. Can't do much about it now since there's a greaser going in that area. This machine really could use just a full strip down and service. That's not great. Oh, I can't do everything perfectly. At some point I'll have to try to get off all these paint marks. Not much you can do about that. Probably doing this completely wrong, but whatever. Might be getting zep in hard to reach places, oh no. Oh no. don't want the machine to get too clean now, do we? Let's see, is it going to get all this crap off here? Oh yeah, look at that. Getting all that right off there. Just melts everything away. Very, very good. Get that all nice and clean, or close enough. That last little bit, come on. Gotta put some elbow grease into it, and I'll get it all cleaned up. Get that pet smell out of this wretched machine. Good enough. I've had enough of this thing. Get that upright. There actually is a little bit of rust on the spindle on the bottom, but nothing too major. The actual wheels still spin perfectly fine. So that is the Eureka AirSpeed technology vacuum, and that's kind of half of a service. We did get it working. We got a little belt change action, and yeah, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do this off camera, but I'm going to take this all apart, wash out every part of this. I'm going to wash the filter too. If it doesn't survive, I'll just replace it, but I'll at least make an attempt to wash it. I believe the filter should be washable. Yeah, it doesn't say it's washable unless I'm reading this wrong. It says to brush it off. But regardless, we're going to wash it. That doesn't feel cheap right there. We're going to see how well that does. And also, because this hose probably has a lot of dog smell in it, we're going to soak that too. And yeah, hopefully get this thing all clean, or at least clean enough. And this machine will hopefully be up and running. The only actual attachment it needs is the turbo brush. My local vacuum shop does have the proper gold color turbo brush that goes with this, but I'm not sure if I'm going to bother replacing that. But yeah, so that's a video on the Eureka AirSpeed, since that was requested. And so I'm going to finish working on this today. And next we'll probably, I ordered the filter for the Eureka Whirlwind. So the next video obviously won't be that, because that filter still has to actually get here. It'll probably be the Shark, the little blue one that's over there. Probably that little blue one. Nope, I didn't even point to it properly. But probably that little blue one. Or something like the Bissell Total Floors. Or perhaps I might not do a repair video at all and just do a review on probably the Bissell Power Force Compact Turbo or something like that. One of these Bissells. Because I need to get these Bissells reviewed, get them sold, get them out of here. And then once I get a couple Bissells reviewed, I'm going to do the loop, since I still got to review the loop. And a few other machines as well. And by the way, the 1398, once I get this fixed up, once I fill up this bag, I'm cleaning it out one more time and throwing it up on OfferUp. So making sure it's all clean first and ready to go before I actually do that. So, this is Inteltech Studio signing out. See you guys in the next video, and I hope you all have a good one. Peace.